play. 10-3 in the last 3 months versus 4-5 for the Gaimin Gladiators, but it all comes down to this. Pistol round is kicking off here on map number 2. The Gaimin Gladiators electing to start on the CT side. And it looks like a hefty P presence here from the Pain Gaming squad. Meanwhile, there's a lot of mid pressure coming in for the Gaimin Gladiators, but they can't get by Carson. He domes 2 before Big Uzetta is able to finish him off. They'll smoke off front of B doors, but there's still going to be a smoke kill from Jazz Pimp. That's the bomb dropped, and Pain Gaming are feeling the pain right now. George is already on the flank. Man, there is nowhere for them to go.
No easy way out. No real opportunity, barring, of course, a heroic play from Nithon. But no, George finds that with ease. 4v1 now. PKL would have to go insane in this round to find it. But no, he's taken out immediately by Cynic. A convincing pistol round victory for Gaimin Gladiators. Looking very good. Of course, the USPs at long range do tend to outshine the Glocks. But still, to win in such a convincing fashion bodes well for Gaimin Gladiators going into the next couple rounds.
We'll see what Pain want to do here. I would not be surprised if they go for a Galil Force. It's something they've done before in the past, and they're going to get a scout for Nithon too. I'm surprised we don't see double scouts out from Gaimin Gladiators, as double scouts have kind of been a meta on these sort of round 2, round 3 pies. As of late, it's been gaining a lot of popularity, and it's also seen some great successes. Heavy A stack, though, from the Gaimin Gladiators, all for no real information or damage. Their information being there's nobody there for Pain. But now, they've used a lot of their utility. In fact, the overall utility is now favoring the Pain Gaming side on the force buy, with 2 AKs and 2 Glass Cannon Eagles for Hardzao and Nikis. Gaimin Gladiators' utility spam has put them in an awkward spot. They're going to have to really hold their line now.
Yes, they are. Pain Gaming not committing anywhere, looking for that duel towards middle. The scout does have that slight edge. We mentioned before, it's on Nithon. Pain Gaming, they went for the min-max strategy, investing into AKs dropped over by their teammates, not going for the across-the-board Galil buy, which we've seen fairly often on these round 2 forces. So, an interesting note, but again, maximizing the potential for Big Uzera and PKO, who's had a heck of a game, or heck of a series thus far, does make sense here.
It does make sense. It does make a good amount of sense, and see if this A hit actually works out pretty well for them. There's a good chance it does, as the flash will go through. The smoke's already down. There's nobody on the A side proper. It's going to be a retake situation for the Gaimin Gladiators, which already puts them down behind the 8 ball. A cap plant coming through. The scout now not finding a shot. Carson with a dastardly shot will be the one to finish off Nithon, and that'll enable a bit of a retake here, but George will only go 1 for 1. Nike's being his victim there. Big Uzetta sprays down another. Cynic comes in, but Big U's got 2, and Cynic's on 13 HP. He can't cross, he can't get sight. Big U comes up with a huge 3K, and this is the danger of the force buy after getting that bomb down. Pain Gaming striking right back, knocking the Gaimin Gladiators down to the ground, and tying things up at 1 apiece. Here comes that double scout force buy on the CT side, though. This is still going to be a scary round for Pain to go up against. This is a very deadly combo, as well as the Deagles and the 5-7 there for George. Pain cannot rest.
Especially not that first map. We saw how the interesting plays from Gaimin Gladiators on rounds such as these netted them success and put them over the line on map 1, so they can't afford to let that happen again. Scout duel towards the middle between Nithon and Jazz Pimp. Image exchanged, but Pain Gaming do have the opening pick and therefore the advantage. They're going to slowly work their way out long A. Big Uzera, the hero of the round prior, is dropped in towards lower tunnels. Cynic swings in from the contact of his teammate and bring us back to even footing.
Still, it's an A-take coming in from Pain, and they're going to be able to get the bomb down here as the smokes will facilitate that cross. Molotov out towards Cat and a Gandalf. And Neki's on the lurk as well. Should be able to get somebody for free. They're going to clear him out, but they're not going to be successful in doing so. He knows there's another one on Cat as well. Cynic retreating to the B side, saving what he has to try and fight again next round. A wise decision here for the Gaimin Gladiators, as Neki's will farm up a couple more. Cynic, the last man standing again, will try and save this time instead of going for the 1v1 retake. But
Pain, though, they're rather aggressive. They were. I think it was just Hardzao racing over to support his teammate Nekis. I thought there might be a hunt, but no, they'll quickly slow down once they secure their teammate. Nithon might even be able to recover an AK somewhere. I know there was one dropped on Big Uzer. Yes, there was. There it is. And so a lot of rifles being brought into the next round by Pain Gaming. Minimal casualties in terms of actual weapons lost. Just the scout dropped there. So a very solid round from them against the Force 5 Gaming Gladiators.
A very solid round indeed, and well, they only let one save, so it's not going to be too hard for them to win this next round either, unless they lose to USPs and get a taste of their own medicine. Pain are a team that can deal well with those kinds of situations, and I don't suspect it'll be the case here. George gets a little bit of damage taken on the cross through doors, overstays his welcome, goes for a bit of a peek, over-aggresses, and gets punished down to 49. Nithon with his big green gun on Dust2 will try to open his account in the round, in the game. And I'm going to expect him to have a very good Dust2. I think he's going to be somebody that Pain are going to play around a lot more than we saw on Inferno. It's a map he's a lot more comfortable on as well. And getting to see the op duel between Cynic and Nithon is going to be rather intriguing, as Cynic's the one with a lot to prove in that kind of an engagement. Nithon, he's more of the well-known quantity. Cynic, somebody who's been picking up the op more and more as of late, doesn't have the kind of pedigree that Nithon does. Hards, however, peeks into the scout of Cynic and gets chased away. Bomb recovered here, and a mid-split on towards the B side looks to be on the cards for Pain as they'll smoke around, flash in, and Carson's actually aggressed through upper tunnels as well. Nekis could get the drop though, and he will. Neki is hitting a lot of headshots right now. George on site gonna get sandwiched and put 6 feet under. Messy spray there from Big Uzeta. But he does finish the job in the end, and nice little consolation kill for B-Wheels there, but not too much else will come forth here from Gaimin Gladiators.
Shouldn't be much more. The Skalil can get upgraded to the AK as well, so in that respect, another very clean one for Pain Gaming. Just bringing full AKs and the op into the following. That op was dropped over to Hard Zao. That was due to HP, but it will surely be back in the hands of Nithon. Gaimin Gladiators do have their first rifle buy on board, but they don't have the op. They have a FAMAS on George and 4 M4s to boot. No kit either, but they do have good utility on everybody except for Cynic.
George could have bought a kit if he didn't buy a helmet. Same for Cynic. Just want to point that out there. It's something that can definitely come back and bite a team if they're not careful. And the way the Gaimin Gladiators have been allowing Pain to get the bomb down so far on Dust2, it does not bode well for them to not have a defuse kit. But all's well that ends well, as the saying goes, and Gaimin Gladiators are going to hope this round ends well in their favor. Already, though, very fiery T side coming out from the side of Pain, which is actually stronger than their CT side. Contrast that to Gaimin Gladiators, who have a sub 50% win rate on T side at rounds. In fact, it's down to 43%. So their CT side needs to be monstrous if they want a chance at this one and sealing the deal in 2 maps, especially with Nuke as a third. It's a map that's good for both teams, but Pain have played it more than double what Gaimin Gladiators have. In fact, it's triple plus 1. So the experience factor alone right there has to favor Pain Gaming on Nuke. But still, we do have the CT have to play in this whole map in general. Bomb goes down though, and that clock is ticking. Nade finds nothing. This is the problem, Nate. They don't have a kit.
Yes, it is, and with them playing as passive as they are, it's now curious why they don't have one. They're playing for this post plant, and they have a full 5 versus 5 retake ahead of them. Why don't they have that on the belt? They're going to have to make this one quick and potentially sloppy as a result. Nithon finds one, B-Wills though finds a double, but Neki's at long, trades in turn. Carson drops Big Uzer on the catwalk. That leaves Neki's in the 1 versus 1. He gets by on 11 HP. Carson will at long last find the kill, but there's no time. The kit is indeed what does them in. It is a bad omen to not have that purchased up. And so Pain Gaming continue their win streak 4-1. That round was expensive. However, they've made the last 2 rounds before that one quite clean, and therefore they have more than enough money to reinvest into everything, including the op on Nithon.
They'll get that op up, and they'll grow their lead even more here. Unless Gaimin Gladiators can make use of very effective timeouts like they did on Inferno. This map is going to be over very quickly. It's a mid-push, and Nithon will say thank you very much. George will be his first victim. Hard Zao looking out for a pick towards a long. We'll deal accordingly with Cynic. A couple of scouts and an M4 still left on the Gaimin Gladiators. But it's not pretty right now. The CT side is hemorrhaging. It is quite the opposite of what they would like. And Nate, it's very, very concerning seeing how the Gaimin Gladiators are playing such a passive setup while still not prioritizing defuse kits. It's a recipe for disaster.
It's playing like half retake, half passive, and playing half aggressive. You're going to play for attrition if you don't have kits, but they're playing passive instead. It's very odd and very mismatched, honestly, and that's a bit worrying. As you mentioned, Nithon just harvesting some kills with the op at range, keeping this round clean. Again, Pain Gaming, what plagued them in the early goings of map 1 was how scrappy the rounds ended, how back and forth they were. It was like 1 or 2 players surviving in almost every round of their CT side on Inferno. That's not the case here out the gates on Dust2. All of these rounds have been clean and convincing. 4 players surviving, sometimes even 5. This could be one of those rounds where all 5 survive, and so their economy is running rampant as a result. Pain Gaming looking like a new team, turning a new leaf, and as I mentioned before, cementing a flawless victory here in round 6.
Flawless victory is huge here for Pain again to grow that economy. 9k on Neckies, 7k on Big U, 6.6 for PKL. It's a strong look here for Pain. Gaimin Gladiators buying up again. They will have 1 defuse kit. And it looks like they don't want to play too passive this time, Nate. They're going for that long scrim, sending 4 players that direction. Molotov will force the op of Nithon away from the doors. And instead they'll rotate off into a mid-split. Bit of a fast rotation away from the long position here for a couple of the Gaimin Gladiators players. Cynic and B-Wills being the ones to rotate in towards middle. George, the solo man on B. Utility does not work there for Nithon. He'll make the second flash count, though. And it'll work perfectly as Cynic hits the dirt. A spray from Big Gazette onto B-Wills will make it his second of the round. George now aggressing into the crosshair of Nakis will win that duel. Good pickup by George, but he takes a lot of damage. And they know exactly where he is. Big Gazette will not let him live. Third on the round, on for the ace now as the bomb's going to make its way onto the B site. It has to be a save here from Carson and Jasper. No way they go back into this one. A 6-1 scoreline will surely be on the board here in the favor of Pain. And I would say a hunt would not be a bad idea either. They have the money for it, and they could completely bankrupt the Gaimin Gladiators going to the next round if they do go for it. PKL is the only one in the vicinity to be able to do so, but it would be well worth the economic risk. Take those guns away from the Gaimin Gladiators and really start tightening down that vice and force that timeout at the very least out of the Gaimin Gladiators.
It is possible. That would be a good idea. It's exactly what I would encourage as well. Again, with that economy they've built up, no reason not to. They can easily reinvest if they fall. So no real harm in at least attempting it. I thought the op, or the double op I should say, would be considered. It looked like it was on the cards, but it will not come through. Instead it's going to be a hunt, and both players spotted in towards the doors. They boosted up, they tried to get crafty with it. It does net 1 kill, but the double in turn comes in from Hardzao. He'll shut them down, and he will fully prevent them from bringing any rifles into the following. That means their economy's in a bad way. It's going to be a half buy. It's going to be an investment for Carson. Interesting call. Gaimin Gladiators somewhat disjointed on this buy, as you can tell. 3 Deagles, a 5.7, and the hero rifle. Carson the only one investing. Pain Gaming, as I mentioned before, their economy's looking beautiful. They have a lot of money in the bank and full rifles out the gates. So they have every advantage thus far in this map.
It's a bit of a classic GG buy, where one guy's going to be on the hero rifle and everyone else saves, and it's usually the person who buys very quickly, doesn't take the time to look at the other team's economy, and will just go for that hero rifle. Sometimes it's Carson, sometimes it's Cynic, sometimes it's George, or B-Wills, or Jasmine, but it does happen quite a bit for this Gaimin Gladiator side. And they do get a pick, so they will be able to get another rifle in this 4v4. Jasmine has armor behind this one as well, which will make this a little bit more viable to be able to pull this off. Again, the lack of a kit becoming a big problem for the Gaimin Gladiators, and the fact that Pain Gaming have, I don't believe they failed to get the bomb down in any of their rounds, so they've been doing a very good job of punching in those numbers. Pain just going to slow things down, though, and work around the map. Don't want to get caught out by pistols. They know very well how lethal they can be. And an 8 take on the cards here from the Brazilian squad. 1 towards Car and 1 towards Goose for the Gaimin Gladiators. The 2 rifles are on A, which of course Pain don't know. Smoke's going in, Molotov's being prepped, flashes going high. And the take's going to commence here. Jaspim has to be very careful not to get caught out. Carson trying to play a bait and switch. Will win the first duel, but they know where he is now, and he only has 11 rounds in chamber. Nithon, his next victim. Carson looking for a third. Cannot find it. Big Uzetta will be his match. Jaspim getting flanked out now, flicks around and wins this. It's a 3v1 in favor of the Gaimin Gladiators, but it's Big Uzetta who stands in their way. Good time on the swing from B-Wills, just catches Big Uzetta looking towards Cat. And the Gaimin Gladiators around, they should not expect to win, are able to pull this one off. And is this not akin to what we saw in Inferno? Was this not almost a bit of deja vu?
It is most certainly a bit of deja vu. The scrappy half-buy/force buys were exactly what gave Gaimin Gladiators that extra edge on map 1. And here, that kind of scrappy buy, half full in the case of Carson and half save in the case of everybody else, does indeed pay dividends. It puts the second round on the board. It gives them a solid buy going to this one. Cynic again has the op in hand. And so Gaimin Gladiators, they could convert this into more victories and find a way back into this map, especially with a pick like that from Cynic.
It's a great opening kill for Cynic on the op. He needs that op to sing. Carson goes in front of the smoke. It's team flashed by Cynic and finished off by PKL. So all for naught is the opening pick of Cynic, and he kind of does wash it out with the team flash as well. Still, 4v4 will definitely favor Pain. Utility starting to flood towards A. Still 2 players rest here. Nithon, though, walks into the op scope of Cynic, who is not really having to take too many difficult shots right now. Getting people walking into his crosshair. He's going to be able to hit those all day, every day. No real fuss about that. B-Wills and Cynic still towards A, and Cynic has dropped down, taking a lower shot. That's a great angle to take on the hard Zao. Expects it, flicks up, and connects very nicely. I had my qualms about Cynic on the op coming into this one, but he's definitely showing off right now on Dust2 CT's side. It's a fourth, and is he going to grab the ace here? He's going to get boosted up. This is a great call. Great team play coming in now for the Gaimin Gladiators to enable Cynic. It's going to be B-Wills to steal the ace, though. Oh, I wanted Cynic to get the ace after that. He deserved it. Those were some great peaks and some good shots.
They were some great shots. However, if we had any questions about Cynic's capabilities, look no farther than around 9. Very well done from him finding 4. The first 2, rather elementary, rather expected. The third and the fourth, though. The third, a masterful flick. And the fourth, a confidence peak with the confidence and the aim to back it up. Very well done from him. Pain Gaming, their economy is now being whittled away. I mentioned it was rather bountiful. Now some players are at the end of their economic rope, namely Nithon. He had to reinvest into the op. He's now at only $50 left in the bank. And Cynic getting aggressive. He's feeling himself. He takes a random shot on a whim through the smoke on an aggressive play and tags Big Uzera through the wall. He's feeling it right now.
If Cynic can continue playing like this consistently and get it on more maps with the op, Gaimin Gladiators gain a whole new level of scary. Because Cynic's a good rifler. He's been a good rifler for a while. But it's the opping that's been a little inconsistent, a little hit or miss. Right now, it's all hit and no miss. And if he can, again, grow this and make this something he does on a regular basis, Gaimin Gladiators are going to be a team that will make playoffs. They have to make playoffs with the opping power that's Cynic's showing right now. This would give them that boost they would need to make a top 4. Cynic just misses that shot, but he's still alive, and they're a little scared of facing him. He'll eat the nade, but they're going to play this very safe. They're not going to force the issue onto him. They don't want to give him any more free kills, unlike the last round, where he was able to get 4 1v1 duels. Nade take coming in from Pain, but the time is low. 27 on the clock. Flash is going high. Second flash going in, and they're going to fake it in towards middle. Jaspim holding from window. Spots at the first. Drops down. Drops the smoke as well. Time is very, very low. 15 on the clock. 10 to plant. And a good pick there. Cynic walks into Nithon this time. Favor returned, but Jaspim around the smoke. Just hiding, waiting. Gets another. The time is low. With the bomb falls, it's all over. Jaspim swings, but he's covered. It's PKL to ensure the bomb goes down. Retake coming through. It's Carson and B-Wills on the second most difficult site to retake on all of Counter-Strike. B site Dust2. Flash goes high. Carson swings in. B-Wills joins him. 1 for Carson. PKL under window. Catches the blind side. B-Wills left in a 1v2. Headshot, but not the second. Netkeys with the trade. And Pain Gaming with a 7th. But Gaimin Gladiators showing some life here. Jaspimp a little unlucky to get covered by a couple of players there. Unable to stop the bomb plant. But still, Gaimin Gladiators not giving up on this one yet.
They're not. I really like the idea there from Jasmine. But again, it looked rather dire with Pain Gaming waiting till the last moment with 2 players on the B side. It seemed near impossible, but they pulled it off. They didn't. Yes, excuse me, Cynic. I totally lost my train of thought there with that pick from Cynic towards middle. He was expecting the boost. We've seen it before. It did net 1 on the cross for Nithon. However, this time it is his undoing. Somehow the op of Cynic is just not missing here on this map.
Yeah, and seeing him take these aggressive peeks time after time out towards the middle portion of the map, it's a very aggressive angle. It shows a lot of confidence that he's placed in himself, that he has in himself, and his team has in him. Carson goes forward now and gets hard Zal, catches him with that utility swap back to the rifle. 2-man advantage for the Gaimin Gladiators. A peek coming in towards Catwalk, spotted out because they're unable to land the headshot, and it'll just be a fade away coming through from Cynic, who does not get a full kill. Get some help from his nade, but it's not going to be enough to finish off the big Guzetta. B-Wills and Carson aggressed up long doors. Will grab the gun upgrade, and the Molotov will now fly in towards Catwalk. Stall out the push, but it's just going to force them forward onto site. PKL in the meantime takes initiative. Jasper, one more, but the bomb's going B. It's going to be a 1v3 for PKL as the bomb's going to go down. They're going to realize their mistake pretty quickly. Jasmine spammed, but was not able to get damage on the cross. PKL is a good amount of utility too, but a 1v3 is still a very difficult spot. Doesn't matter if it's B-side Dust2, if it's A-side Inferno, it's still a very difficult proposition, especially now that Gaimin Gladiators are all grouping up and they have no utility. This makes it more winnable for PKL, but he's not used any of his own. Has a Molotov and a couple of flashbangs. Just going to get a free kill on the Carson, though. Swings for the next. He can pull this off. No, it's B-Wills in the end. Expensive round for the Gaimin Gladiators. Kit salvage. That saves the round there for the Gaimin Gladiators, too. But PKL makes them pay dearly for that victory. Their buy is not going to be strong. No op at the very least for Cynic. That's been something they've been able to rely on consistently in the last few rounds to be able to get opening picks. Pain Gaming looking for an 8th. Gaimin Gladiators scraping by to try and grab a 5th.
Cynic, a monster on the op. Let's see if he can have the same impact on the M4. He does have the advantage in this duel, as you mentioned. Pain Gaming, the force spine, less than ideal, but they do still have that AK hero rifle on hard Zao that can be juggled around as necessary. The Tech 9s as well, if they race out of a choke point, could find tremendous success. We'll have to see exactly how they use those close range weapons. Maybe a mid play might be on the cards for Pain Gaming. They're just running the default, albeit with a lot of presence over towards the tunnels. They will eventually just completely concede along. They don't want to challenge there. And Gaimin Gladiators, we've seen them press there before. They will do so again here and now.
Flash going through middle. Jaspim dodging the flashes, posting up, waiting for them to run. They will not clear him hard enough. He's got 1 and 2, and help on the 3rd. Cynic comes in from window, and is his guardian angel. George chimes in for another PKL, 1 conciliatory frag, and only 1 as Carson will have the finisher. And there's that 5th, and it's very clean here for Gaimin Gladiators. It was a bit more of a force than I expected initially for Pain Gaming, and this time they will probably just go for a half at best. Nikki's maybe dropping a couple of pistols. This is the chance now for the Gaimin Gladiators to draw within 1 round, unless they lose to Glocks again, or some other sort of pistol buy coming out from Pain Gaming. It will be a Glocks and a Deagle purchased up for Nikki's, and that is it. Just the $700 investment of a Deagle, and armor actually for Nikki's, so $1,350. But still, not much at all, and that investment is now on the ground in lower tunnels. It comes to naught. That nade's going to be a chunky lad. Does so much damage, and that's the round.
Over in the blink of an eye. And it seems, like you mentioned, deja vu earlier. It was 6-2 at one point for Pain Gaming. It's now 6-7 with Gaimin Gladiators only trailing by 1. A very, very similar story to map 1 thus far, and Gaimin Gladiators look incredibly good on the CT side, but again, as you mentioned, they really struggle on the T side. They need to get 8, in my opinion, if they really want to stand a chance going into the second half.
George is blind, but he still has an opportunity for 1. He gets blinded for a second. He sprays away. Has help now as Cynics come through as well as Jaspimp. PKL will finish off the first nuisance on the side. The last are outside, but it's a 2v4 now for Pain Gaming, and they have not yet got the bomb to ground. Bomb crossing now. PKL ambulating up towards that classic plant. Under window. Blinded for tons. Wide open. Span through the door. 1 rotating. 2 rotating through tunnels, actually. It's Carson and B-Wills. Dust2 through doors as well. Smoke going in. Carson has some utility. Beals has a Molotov too. One flash being used. PKL blind, and Nicky's gone. All down to PKL now a 1v4. He almost had a 1v3 earlier, but he has a none v4 this time as B-Wills catches him around the smoke. Bomb will be defused, and scoreline's going to be tied up here. That bomb plant, though, very clutch for Pain Gaming to be able to buy up into the next round. It's not going to be great. Galil's Mac 10s, maybe pistols, depending on how much utility they want. At the very least, PKL can get an AK, no qualms. But this is a very good opportunity now for the Gaimin Gladiators to tie things up at 8, or I should say take a lead going to the second half at 8-7. They've tied things up now. And I did not think that was possible coming in with how things were going earlier on. It's a great turnaround.
A massive turnaround, and it would be the exact same scoreline we saw in half number 1 of map number 1.
What?
And it's looking very likely. It's the momentum. You mentioned they're a momentum-based team, but I don't think we underscored that fact enough. They found their footing, and now they're just going with the plays as they see fit. The play down middle, just because of the lack of fear, they're finding so much success. Very well done to find those two for the price of 1, and it's Big Uzera on the op now trying to find something with Hardzao and Neckies supporting on AKs. They only have a Molotov between them, whereas they have 4 players to disentrench. Cynic, the op is not missing. He finds a nice flick on the Big Uzera. A second on the Neckies. He is a menace. It's just Hardzao towards tunnels. He'll find 1, but he needs a heck of a lot more. 1v3, and it's still an op as well in Cynic's hands. It seems nigh impossible, and yes, it is. B-Wills finds the kill to cap the half.
Nothing's ever enough, baby. No, I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side. I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different.
And here we go into half number 2, a very familiar scoreline if you were with us for half number 1, where Gaimin Gladiators came back from a 6-2 deficit to an 8-7 half lead. This time, though, they are on the T side versus the CT side. It is the less favored side of Dust2, and the map pick of Pain. They are a very good Dust2 team, but the way Cynic's been playing, the way that Gaimin Gladiators have been able to build up around his early successes too, and be able to find a way to get a lead coming into half number 2. Pain should be scared here. Gaimin Gladiators are in a never say die mood, and Cynic is a hit everything player right now, so they should be worried, and Gaimin Gladiators have to be careful not to overextend their necks and get them chopped off. I'm Boggs, joined by Pineapple Phillips. We welcome you to map number 2.
Half number 2 of map number 2 is Dust2. We've seen quite a bit of it already. Again, map 2, same as the first in many respects, as Boggs mentioned. And Gaimin Gladiators, an interesting start to this round. It was very passive. They were hoping to maybe catch Pain Gaming out on their aggression middle. Instead, Pain Gaming fall away and let them go for an A play. It's going to be a full 5 versus 5 going into this retake, but the bomb isn't down yet. Pain are contesting the site before these players take the site proper, and as such, we're going to get awkward duels here. George finds the opening. Bomb goes down on B. All by its lonesome across the site. I didn't even notice. It's all alone. That was a rather audacious call. George finding another amidst the chaos. In fact, the round's pretty much over. It's PKL on the 1 versus 4. He'll find a parting gift towards top middle, but B wills. In the meanwhile, underneath, the Xbox finds the kill in turn. Gaimin Gladiators all over the map and completely playing Pain Gaming there.
George juked out the camera crew. He juked out us. He probably juked out everyone watching. That's a fake. That is how to fake in Counter-Strike. I mean, it helps out George got 4 kills on the A site, but still, that's an incredible play. That's something you're not going to see in a while. Gaimin Gladiators, though, with a resounding result on the pistol round. We were talking between halves, Nate. If they win the pistol round strongly, it's going to spiral into their favor. It's definitely looking good for the Gaimin Gladiators right now. It's a force up from Pain, though. A couple of scouts, one for PKL and one for Nython the Opper. PKL might have spotted the Xbox cross here. We'll see if he's able to do anything. It's an ace stack. The Deagle of Naki's unable to find a mark. Now it does, but he gets shredded back nicely by Carson, and they flood up towards the A site. Nython on Goose has the scout, and there goes Carson down to the ground. 4v3 in the favor of Pain. The bomb does not need to commit towards A. It's a 2-2 split now for the Pain Gaming side. 2 on each site, and now they're starting to fall away a little bit more. Bit of utility to chuck out towards A, maybe draw a rotation. But Pain are content to play the odds and hope their 2v3 is enough to hold either site. And maybe Hardtail gets aggressive in towards tunnels too. Is Jaspim going to go solo fake this?
Seems like they're trying to go for that again, but Hardzow aggressed in tunnels will give it away. George finds the kill. The scout is going to struggle if the players flood out, so he needs to be careful. Jazz Pip, as well, finds Nython. Very well done to find that, and Cynic continues forward in towards B. Very well done to find that. It's just Big Uzera now alone. 1 versus 3. It looked very good there for a brief moment, right? They had the advantage. Things looked interesting. The scouts could have found something to work with at the long range, but no, it's Gaimin Gladiators with the rifles at range to find resounding success. Just Big Uzera with the scout, and he's keen on saving that with his Kevlar for the following.
He's definitely keen on saving this one. He has to try and do something in the next round, but Gaimin Gladiators are finding the 1v1 duels. They are just winning outright aim duels right now. And like Jaspim just trying to be the human decoy this round worked out so well. The take on B was individual duels being won by the multitude of the Gaimin Gladiators players, and it's been very steady, even spread across the board in terms of kills for these guys. And it really has been their saving grace. Where Pain Gaming has been a little more top-heavy. This game, not so much. In fact, they're all separated by 1 kill. But on Inferno in particular, it was very heavily skewed towards the top. Meanwhile, Gaimin Gladiators, just everyone chiming in, slowly but steadily, coming together, stewing, and making a good result. PKL does get 1 on the USP, but only 1 as B-Will's just going to madman charge through the Molotov there, trying to mop up the USPs. Hardtail's on B side, thinking better of going for anything here. Probably glad he's the guy who was on B, so he didn't get murdered out towards middle. But Gaimin Gladiators are going to get an 11-7 lead, a 4-round lead, before Pain Gaming could even get guns again. And Cynic could even toss that Galil over to Carson, pick up an op himself. And the way Cynic's been playing with the op, that should definitely be the call. Give him the op as soon as possible. And good luck crossing to B, because the way Cynic's been playing, he's going to wallbang headshot you as you jump across doors.
The last head-to-head on this map wasn't too long ago, and it was a 16-4 stomp for Pain Gaming. We're at 11-7 in Gaimin Gladiators' favor. That is a resounding finding of form, honestly, just a resounding increase in improvement for this squad. No fear they're going to go out towards long. No op invested that you suggested, or the likes of Cynic. Instead, Carson will just go for the AK. Next, he's flashed and will find one. Not quite the second. B-Will's on the MAC-10 will get the trade, but Pain Gaming, I think they come out with the advantage after that opening duel with so much damage done. PKL not towards the middle. It's his turn to shine. He'll find lots of damage, but he won't find the kill. Jazz Pimp instead is the one to win that duel. And so, Gaimin Gladiators still have fight in this round. Big Uzair trying to be the hero, swinging through the smoke, finds one and dinks down Jazz Pimp, but again, he holds strong for his team, maintains an advantage, 3 versus 2, and Hard Zhao on the spam. So close to finishing off one of those players, but no, the bullets don't connect enough. Nighthon on the op, towards long, will have to hold things down. He'll find one, even things back up, but still, it's anybody's round, 2 versus 2.
Jazz Pimp is so low on health, though, at 9 HP. He's a dead man walking, but if he's able to win the 1v1 against the op, it puts Hard Zhao in a rough spot. The nade! It's going too far. It'll do a little bit onto Carson, but it's not going to do anything onto Jazz Pimp, the man who's so vulnerable to the HEs. A flash for Nighthon and nothing else. Hard Zhao needs to get something, does get one, traded out. Carson on 4 HP, a drive-by for Nighthon. Overkill with a USP headshot. Will net Pain Gaming their first CT-sided round, but how many casualties does it take for them to get around? Apparently it's 4 right now, and that's not good enough on the CT side. At the very least, they save the op, but they're going to be lacking in utility and firepower coming to this round. Nighthon can drop at M4, but everybody else is going to either be in like FAMASs, SMGs, just to be able to get the utility up right now to counteract Gaimin Gladiators, who are now going to be on their full buy. They had Galils into last round. They had a MAC-10. Cynic did not have his op, which he does have now. And this is the first true gun round we're going to see, at least for Gaimin Gladiators. Pain with a couple of FAMASs and the MP9. The utility isn't great either. Only one kid is a bit worrisome as well. And a very interesting split where they're very passive towards middle in the early going. Now they're starting to flood in towards middle and catwalk, with one out towards blue box. Pain have to be very careful here. They're very spread out. There's not a lot of trade potential aside from B site. They're putting themselves in pretty much ride or die situations.
I was going to mention Nighthon's a little bit worrying towards catwalk all by his lonesome, but as I mentioned it, he finds the opening and falls away. He doesn't overstay his welcome. Pain Gaming do find the opener, but as we mentioned, their economy's teetering on the brink. They have 1 M4, 2 FAMASs, and MP9. They do at least have the kit. It's on PKL, who, by the way, still having a heck of a series. Had a heck of a map 1, heck of a map 2 as well thus far. So it is smart, it is wise to give him one of those rifles. Gaimin Gladiators, though, still have a horse in this race here in round number 23. Round number 20, excuse me. I don't know why I added 18 to 5.
It is what it is.
Never do math on live stream.
Exactly.
That is what people often say, especially not when you're tired. Cynic, though, still has the op in hand, but it doesn't matter, at least for the moment. PKL instead finds one onto George. The MP9 up close and personal is played to its best position. 2 for Hard Zhao, and the third seems likely. Cynic does find one with the op, but nothing more. Hard Zhao contemplating the double op setup. It doesn't look like they'll go for it. Either way, Pain Gaming do find a convincing CT victory, and they can now begin to balance up that economy.
Timeout called, and we'll see who this is by. It's by the Gaimin Gladiators here, and they want to take this time to talk things over. They do not want to let things get out of hand here. They can still scrounge together a full buy. At the very least, it would be Galils and such, but I think they're going to go for more half buy, if you can even call it that, with a couple players on Galils. Jazz Pimp and B-Wills to be those 2 players. If Jazz Pimp wants to go for a Galil, he could technically... Nah, he shouldn't go for an AK. It would be a little too much of a hefty investment. But Cynic could also get a couple of pistols if he wants to, or he looks to be saving for the op right now. Still, the case remains. Gaimin Gladiators are still going to come into this round with some money. They're going to come into this round with a bit of a buy, a bit of firepower. And with the timeout to try and make sure they don't let Pain get off to the races and tie this up now. Don't let Pain get momentum. That's their modus operandi. That's what they have to do.
Don't let that economy become bountiful. Try to drop that off whenever possible. That is the main thing that will give Pain Gaming the edge in these rounds. It's an interesting half buy. The AK and the Galil for B-Wills and Jazz Pimp. Well, with the smoke, they could find something. Again, these wiry, scrappy half buy / forest buy / interesting rounds for Gaimin Gladiators is what has found them success rather consistently throughout this series. So I'm interested to see if it can find the same success now. Nithon posted on the smoke. Should get at least one near. Yes, he does. That's Jazz Pimp. One of the rifles, I believe, taken down. It is immediately recovered, but Nithon still emerges as the victor in that duel. 5 versus 4 established, and Nekis finds a second. Cynic will at long last get a trade, and so Nekis has to try and hold on as long as possible. One, ooh, not quite the second. Big Uzair in the meanwhile drops a B-Wills. It's just Cynic. Less than a minute left in the 1v3. He's trying to find that op, but no, it's not going to be easily recovered. So we'll have to take the duel with the AK at range. Big Uzair taps him out. 10 to 11, Pain Gaming recovering. Convincing fashion here on their CT side, as we expected, as we anticipated. We mentioned Gaimin Gladiators do typically struggle on their T side of Dust2. So if Pain Gaming can keep on the hurt here, if they can keep on finding success, they could quickly turn the tides of this one.
Could very quickly turn the tide here. It is their best map, and Gaimin Gladiators T side statistically lacks on this map. Pain will have to deal with Cynic, though, as he will swing through, finds a little bit of a gap in the smoke, and picks up Big Uzeta. It's been a bit of the duel of the fates, duel of the ops here between Cynic and Nithon. Although Cynic's also having some solid impact with the rifles as evidenced last round. That's the early pick for the Gaimin Gladiators. They'll look to get more as Carson finds Nithon up on catwalk. 2-man advantage of the op is on the ground for Pain Gaming. At the very least, that's going to be more invested into the next round if they're not able to recover it. And it's a split, it's a fake. Carson is the human decoy. Carson is all they need to hold this rotation. In the meantime, George will waltz out onto the B site. If they could actually get caught up by Hard Zal, though, I think Gaimin Gladiators are overthinking this a little bit much. Carson gets caught. And now they're making noise. Surely Hard Zal has heard this. Surely he knows. Surely they know it's going to be B. But they're looking the wrong way. George gets a nice little two-piece, catching them off guard, looking towards middle. And the last player rotating out towards the B side is Nekis coming in through T-spawn. But it should be a 12th. It should be another round. It's started by Cynic and finished by George. Carson had a bit to play as well. But the Gaimin Gladiators making it look easy, making it look simple. And with the guns in their hands, they obliterate Pain Gaming this time. Nekis with 1,500 in the bank. 3K for PKL. Big Uzeta's got the op dropped over to Nithon. But it's another awkward economic situation coming out for Pain. And what's Nekis going to have? P250? A 5.7?
P250. You hate to see
and
it.
no armor. No armor.
That is most unfortunate. He prioritizes the flash to maximize his teammates' potential. It's a selfless call. And one that I will respect. And I'm sure he will as well, albeit begrudgingly. Op, though, for Nithon is the critical factor. If they can continue to keep that in his hands, continue to enable him, they should be able to find at least moderate levels of success. PKL with the MP9 finds one. Hardzow is second with the M4. They're shutting down this B take. Carson will last find one in his team. They're dropping Nithon, and Carson a second. Carson a third, and B-Wells a fourth. It looks so good for Pain Gaming, but suddenly everybody falls by the wayside. It's just Nekis towards the doors, locked out of the site by a wall, a literal wall of smokes. And this round seems impossible now. Gaimin Gladiators seem destined to find 13, and Nekis at best should be saving this M4 for the following.
Nekis has to be saved, but he's too close to B doors. He can't really get out of this alive either. Cynic's also swapped the rifle. He doesn't want to lose the op. Nekis is waiting for over-aggression from the Gaimin Gladiators, but here it comes now. Carson goes through, and this is going to allow Nekis to back away a little safer. He's going to still sit around, though. 2v1, it's doable, but no kit, no armor. Save the M4, Nekis. You don't have the money for the next round. Your team's very broke. Cynic's going to grab his op again. Nekis going to jump up, and it's just going to be a savior from the Gaimin Gladiators and from Nekis if he's able to evade the bomb detonation. Yeah, it'll be fine. But Gaimin Gladiators, Yeah, 13-10, and also how explosive they were on that take. This time it was Carson, and that's been the recurring theme for the Gaimin Gladiators. It's not just one guy, it's not just two guys, it's everybody on the team having their respective moments and pushing this team towards victory.
They are having their moments. Their kills are a little bit more spread out than that first map, but still, everybody's having their moments. Carson, you mentioned, he's a man that can have tremendous amounts of impact overall, and he's definitely having that here. Very well done from him. Pain Gaming to save 2 P250s. That hero M4 on Nikizi will buy some Kevlar to go along with it, but still, they're going to be hard-pressed to find much of anything in this round, and I don't think they'll even have an op in the following, so it's going to be tough going for Pain Gaming.
It's going to be very tough going for Pain. They had a 4-stack on A, which was the right call, but it's starting to fall apart now. The M4, the saved rifle, is over towards Catwalk. There's a couple of pistols on the site proper, and all 5 Gaimin Gladiators are waltzing up long. Smoke's down for the cross. The op of Cynic spots out one, and that's going to be the opening pick onto a P2000. A boost up from Elevator, actually just over the smoke from Bigazetta. Going for a little bit of a cheeky play, putting Nickies on top of that boost. Maybe the M4 finds a mark or 2, or preferably 3 if you're Pain. The more the better, but Spam not going to do anything. Up on top, Carson spots the head, and that's going to be a snappy headshot coming in from the veteran on the Gaimin Gladiators. B-Will's holding the line, sprays down Nithon. Bigazetta has picked up the M4, and he's bailing out, running for the hills, running for his life, trying to save it. Hardzao will grab the M4. Nice little teamwork there to try and get out of a dodge. Bigazetta is dead to rights here. Flash goes too far, and he'll get one, but only one. Traded out swiftly. And on the hunt is George. Hardzao back into lower tunnels, trying to save his gun. Trying to give Pain Gaming a little less of an economic impact coming through here. But George is ready for it. George is watching and waiting, hoping and praying. Will he even go for the full hunt, though? Doesn't want to give the AK over. It's better to give him an M4 than to give him an AK. So I think George just biding his time, waiting to see if he got peeked. Much better call there for George. As the bomb detonates and Gaimin Gladiators grab a 14th. But Nate, where's the timeout from Pain? Where is their timeout?
There we go. There it is. And right now, my one question is, does Biguzera go for a glass cannon? I feel like just an op in general, whether it's on your actual op or not, can be tremendously impactful. Biguzera should be able to more than pull his weight with it. The question is, will he actually go for it? There would be no utility. There'd be no Kevlar. But I would respect the call, I think. It would definitely be needed on a map, again, like Dust2, against the likes of Cynic. Cynic's been feeling himself, and so is Carson. They're both tied at 23.
Yeah, you can't say B-Wolves hasn't been having a game, or Jasp in his own right, and George has kind of just been left on the sidelines like, all right, guys, have fun. I'll sit here. I guess I'll just...
I wouldn't even say that. Honestly, he sold the fake on the pistol run,
True.
did he not?
That's very... Yeah, he got 4
Everybody's
kills on the
having
pistol
impacts. Yeah, everybody's having impact when they need to. Everybody's slotting into a well-oiled machine, and so I can see why they're leading, why they have penultimate series point, even on the bastion of a map that is Dust2 for Pain Gaming.
Yeah, Gaimin Gladiators looking so impressive right now. It's a great look for them, and just goes to show the impact of Semphis as a coach, too, because this team has been a team that's been a little loose with it. It's been a team that has lacked discipline in the past, and I don't see that anymore from them. They look very secure. They look very disciplined and regimented in what they're going to do. Biguzetta does get that opening kill onto Carson. That's a big heavy hitter to take out, but in comes B-Wills now. Molotov goes on well, and there's still somebody out towards Tallbox. On site, there's another one towards Car. It's going to be the Car swing first. One win for B-Wills, traded out by Cynic as well. 3v3s, the bomb will go down on B. The flank is fast, though. Look at the keys all the way through T-spawn. What a spot by Cynic, though, and he is on the gear. What did he eat for dinner or lunch? I don't know, but I want it. And he's even got the right angle, swapping between 2 tunnels and doors. Will he pick the right spot? Will he make the right guess? Will he have the right angle? Goes back! Oh! And that's a disgusting flick. Scopes in, flicks on. Bye-bye, Netkeys. Bye-bye, Pain. Bye-bye, Bigu. Match point, Gaimin Gladiators.
Cynic. He has been a constant in this game for his team. 27 kills, 4 coming in that last round on the op, and he dropped it over to Carson. I'm not sure what the call is there. Perhaps for the spot on the cross. Pain Gaming, it's a desperate buy here. 2 scouts at M4 and a FAMAS, along with the 5-7. Gaimin Gladiators we cannot stop singing their praises. You mentioned it before, they were a team that was loose. Honestly, loose might be an understatement for what they were in times prior, but they managed to play through and stay in the league. And now they have the motivation, the infrastructure behind them. You keep on calling out Semphis. I have to agree wholeheartedly there. I think they have a new ceiling, especially as you mentioned, if we can see this consistent play from Cynic. This is a new team with new heights.
Yeah, this is the thing too. The individuals on this team, it was something we've talked about in the North American scene for a long time, how these guys have such good individual skill. It's just they didn't have that guiding hand to keep them focused. And now that they have that in the veteran North American player like Semphis, you just see how this team grows with every match, how they get better and better. And this is what we need more of in North America, to pull out my soapbox for a little bit. This is what North America has been missing. This is what you can get from North America if you actually do support it. If there's any orgs listening, support NACS. You will get dividends. There are people here that can put in the work and make it up to you.
These players have been on the hustle and the grind, the grustle, if you will, for quite a while. When I first started my career in the casting industry, it was Carson, it was B-Wills, it was Jasmine, but I've done work for all their teams back in the day. When I was first getting started, they've clearly been around for a long time, and they've more than put in the work, as we can tell. 15-10, looking to make it 16. It's a very slow round. Pain Gaming do not want to give away any advantage whatsoever. They're waiting for Gaimin Gladiators to walk into the traps they've set. The question is, will the traps be effective enough with the lackluster weaponry? Big Uzera and Necky's playing towards the catwalk. Necky's on the counter flash. The 5-7 very dangerous at close range, but no one's making a step. Both teams just waiting here. Big Uzera will be pulled in and he will be felled. B-Wills finds a second. Gaimin Gladiators looking to close it out. Here a third the way of Jasmine. It's just a fold of the Pain Gaming defense. PKL and Hard Zhao left to pick up the pieces.
Bomb's going to go down wide open on a perfect plant for long. PKL looking for somebody to peek him with the scout in hand. The M4 for Hard Zhao. It's not pleasant. It's not good. No kits as the bomb ticks away. Gaimin Gladiators are 2 kills away from 2-0ing Pain, a team atop the group in Group A right now. Will still be the topic of the score line, but not for long perhaps, as Jaspim has the next. Hard Zhao, the last spring away, has one more on the exit, runs out of ammo, B-Wills to finish, and that is all she